brace yourselves for the most negative video you've seen all year. I've tried over 200 products this year, and these are the worst.
What's up, friends? Welcome back to my channel. I hope you all are doing well. If I haven't scared you away yet with my awful Grinch impression, then you're in for a treat, a salty treat. We are getting Grinchy today because I'm going to be talking about the worst makeup that I tried in 2023. These are the products that I loathed, or just the ones that, didn't work out for me. They were pretty meh. These are the products that just really weren't that great, that I don't recommend. And this isn't just any video. Oh no, this video is in collaboration with the wonderful, the beautiful, the talented Jackeline from Hey, It's Jackeline. A lot of you guys are already subscribed to her channel, so I don't need to really tell you how awesome she is, but if you haven't checked her out, you definitely need to head on over to her channel and watch some of her content. I've been following her channel for way before I was on YouTube. She covers all of the top luxury beauty releases. She loves Chanel, Dior, Tom Ford, pretty much most of the brands that I talk about on this channel. And just like me, friends, she also has an obsession with luxury fashion and handbags. I love to watch her Chanel shopping vlogs and bag unboxings. I am often living vicariously through your fabulous collection, Jackeline. So if you have not checked her out, you definitely should. I'm going to be linking her version of this video down in the description box so you can see her worst makeup products that she tried in 2023. Make sure you told her that I sent you. And if you're coming over from Jackeline's channel, hi, welcome. My name is Sophia. I am a complete luxury beauty addict and I upload new videos just like this one every single week, except a little bit less Grinchy. So welcome to the channel. Subscribe if you like this video. I have tons of new makeup reviews and other fashion content just like Jackeline. And with that, friends, let's get into the worst makeup that I tried in 2023. Okay, party people, let's get into it. I did take off the Grinch gloves just because they're kind of starting to shed and it's getting caught in my lashes and my lip gloss, and I just can't have any of that while I am filming. So hopefully that is okay, but we're still gonna get Grinchy up in here. In no particular order, I'm gonna start things off with my first least favorite product that I tried in 2023, and that is the Hourglass eyeshadow sticks. 2023 has been the year of eyeshadow sticks. I feel like every single brand launched them, either the stick version or like single eyeshadows in general. We saw a lot of that this year. And actually, this was the year that I sort of grew to appreciate the simplicity and the elegance of a single eyeshadow. I got a lot more use out of the ones that I already had in my collection. And I also added lots of new ones to my collection. And these Hourglass ones were a part of that. However, these are not that great. These are not that great. You guys saw in my review, I really don't like these. They look very dry on the eye. I feel like they emphasize a lot of texture. They don't wear as well as other ones on the market. I really like the Victoria Beckham ones. I really like the Bobbi Brown, the Laura Mercier. I've tried a bunch of different brands at this point, and I feel like they all are kind of similar, except for these, which they just don't wear very well, and they look very dry. I don't know if you can kind of see there on my hand. This is emphasizing every little line on the back of my hand. And then by the end of the day, they kind of start to look a little bit patchy as well. So these unfortunately have been collecting dust at the back of my makeup drawer. They're most definitely going to get decluttered at the beginning of next year when I clean out my makeup drawer. So unfortunately, these were just not my favorite. And by the way, friends, comment down below and let me know, did you enjoy these? Did you not enjoy these? A lot of the products that I'm going to be talking about in this video are popular products, things that lots of other people like. This is all in good fun, okay? So if there are products that I talk about in this video that you really love, comment down below and let me know. It's totally okay. There's always going to be things that don't work out for me that other people absolutely love. I'm not saying that all of these products are, ugly and they look bad on people. So let's stay positive here. This video is supposed to be fun. But yeah, guys, unfortunately, I would not recommend these to anybody. My next least favorite product is actually one that I recently returned. This is a recent fail for me, and they are the Sarat Soufflé eyeshadows. I really wanted these to work out because, like I said, guys, I've really been enjoying these single eyeshadows in 2023, and these looked so cool. I'll be showing you guys some B-roll here because I did film that before I returned it. These have this really cool, like, fluffy souffle. I mean, they're called the souffle eyeshadow. It's kind of like a fluffy jelly-like consistency. And when you go in with a brush and you apply it to your eye, you get this really pretty, light. They're not supposed to be pigmented, but a really chic, effortless wash of color all over the lid. And unlike the Hourglass shadow sticks, it actually looks really beautiful and smoothing on the lid when you put them on. But unfortunately, friends, these just wear horribly on my eyelids. Some of you guys have told me you haven't had any issues, but a lot of you guys have told me you've had the same experience as me, where throughout the day, like after a couple hours, not even by the end of the day, these start to crease pretty badly. And then as the hours go on, they kind of start to almost like pill off of my eye because they're that like jelly consistency. These are pretty expensive. So, you know, sometimes with certain products, if it's not that expensive, but I like the way it looks, maybe it becomes something in my collection that I'll wear for, you know, a couple of hours if I'm going out, if I really like the look of it. But for something so expensive, I really expect it to have better longevity. I expect it to be something where, you know, I can use in any type of occasion. So for me, unfortunately, I didn't really like these. Sarat was very kind and they did allow me to return them. So that's a quick tip for you guys. Just email their team. And if you didn't like these also, you can get your money back. This next one, friends, is a very polarizing product. And unfortunately, I'm on that end of the spectrum that just doesn't like really know how to use or enjoy this product. It is the Jones Road Miracle Balm. I know this went viral. There are so many people out there that like this. So please don't be offended if you like this and I don't. I don't know what to do, guys, with all of this Miracle Balm. I bought 3 tubs of this for my review, and I really only enjoy using this as kind of like a tinted lip balm, basically. I understand the premise behind this. I understand it's supposed to be for a super duper natural look, something where you really aren't wearing much makeup at all. You're kind of putting this on to make it look like you're naturally blushing. I totally get that. And I know right now I'm rocking my Grinch-y glam and it's a little bit extra, but if you are subscribed to my channel, you know that I love natural makeup. I love the no makeup type of look. I've done many videos on that style and aesthetic of makeup, but I still don't like this for that type of look. I feel like I have other products in my collection, beautiful cream blushes. I love the Chanel Water Fresh collection. I have so many other products that are good for creating that kind of natural look. This just feels greasy to me. It is a balm. It has lots of oils and kind of emollients in it. So when it goes on the face, I just kind of end up like a sticky mess. I definitely have to be wearing my hair in a bun if I'm going in with this product. And so while I like the premise behind it, and while I like this style of makeup, it just doesn't really work. It's kind of like a tinted makeup remover on my face, and it also doesn't last. So I just don't really get it, friends. I don't get the hype behind these products. I know a lot of people really like this. So if you have any suggestions for how I can use these or how you like to use them, please leave them in the comment section down below. While we are on this tangent, a very similar product that I purchased that I really wish I didn't because it was so unnecessary are these Glow Color Balms from Pat McGrath. First off, I hate the packaging. It feels super cheap. She used to have much more luxurious packaging for those sorts of, you know, stick highlighters and the stick balms that she does. I really like those, but a lot of these collections that she's been coming out with lately just have this super cheap and plasticky packaging that I do not appreciate. And the formula of these, while it's not terrible, it is very glossy, kind of like the Miracle Balms, not quite as oily, not quite as balmy, but it is a very emollient formula. And I find myself not really reaching for these because it's the type of product where you go in and it kind of instantly removes all the foundation and base that you already had on your face. You almost have to use this if you're not really going to be wearing much foundation at all. But the thing that really gets me, you know, I'll put the packaging aside, you know, the fact that they're just kind of dewy aside, they really don't have much longevity at all. If I'm going to go in with a dewy blush, I'm probably going to go with the Rare Beauty liquid blushes. I feel like those are so much better. You get sort of the same effect that was desired by these, but you get a lot more buildable pigmentation and longevity from those. So this is just something that I really wish I didn't buy. I had a feeling that I wasn't really going to enjoy it. I know there are people that like these, but for me, like I said, what kills it is just the fact that I put it on my cheeks, I blend it in, and then 2 seconds later, I'm like, where did my blush go? One of my bigger makeup disappointments of 2023 was the reformulation of the Dior blush and eyeshadow formulas. And if you are not up to date, Dior's been reformulating a lot of their beauty products in an effort to become a clean beauty brand. And to them, that means removing the talc, certain preservatives, and a couple of other ingredients from their powder products. And the formula that we are left with is definitely a lot drier and not quite as silky and blendable as we had before. And don't get me wrong, friends, if you didn't like talc and now you can use Dior products and you really like them, I am totally happy for you. And there are eyeshadow palettes and blushes that I still really like from Dior in the reformulated version. I really like this blush right here. This is number 339 Sillage. I will link this one down below in case you're interested. But what I'm noticing, friends, is that the quality is just, it's not as consistent. Like some of the blush formulas I like, and then some of them are just a bit dry and patchy. So my recommendation to my subscribers is always wait for me to review the new collection to see if the formula is going to be good. I review pretty much all of the new Dior collections here on my channel. So if you like Dior, you are definitely in luck. And there have been plenty of new releases in the reformulated versions that I've enjoyed. I really like the holiday collection, for example, but there are other products, okay? Just like this one, Soft Cashmere, which I really feel like they ruined. The matte shades that are in this palette, specifically this one right here, which you can see, already has hard pan after me using it just a couple of times. It is dry, it is patchy, it's just not as good. So I really think it depends on the color story, the finishes that they choose. You know, it's not a complete fail. It's not that all of the Dior makeup that I tried in 2023, the reformulated versions, is the worst and is terrible. It's just, it's a makeup disappointment, as I described before. So comment down below, let me know what you think of this reformulation. What do you think now that it's been like a couple of months and maybe you've tried a couple of new releases? You know, do you think it's good? Do you think it's super worse? I would love to hear all of your thoughts. Speaking of Dior, I have one more product to talk about, and this is one that I just don't really like. I think I realized I just really don't care for their liquid lipstick formula. What is this called? The Forever Liquid, okay? I love the lacquer, okay, the glossy version. I think that product is so good. You get great longevity with that beautiful shine, but the classic liquid lipsticks from Dior I just don't really care for. And the one that I have right here that I tried, which I feel like was the worst, was the one from the holiday collection. They put out these liquid lipsticks that have glitter in them. And I don't know. I like glitter, guys. I like these festive things for the holidays. And I realized it was a part of the holiday collection, but I just don't see that many people wanting to wear this, given that it gives your lips this glitter encrusted look, but also it's just so dry. I feel like this formula emphasizes every little line in my lip. I love a matte formula. I love a liquid lip. I love, you know, full coverage lipstick. I love it all. I love makeup, guys, okay? But this legit, it is drying, no doubt. I need to know that I'm not the only one. I need to know if there are people out there that also don't like this formula. If you are looking for a liquid lipstick formula, I would go for the Tom Ford. I would go for the Lisa Eldridge. I even liked the Valentino ones, even though they were kind of sheer. This though, this just really didn't do it for me. Let's talk about some of my foundation and concealer fails from 2023. And hands down, guys, my least favorite like complexion product overall that I tried this year is the Hydra Bounce foundation. I think that's what it's called. I don't have it anymore. I got rid of it. I just could not stand it, and I didn't want it sitting in my makeup drawer anymore, so I decluttered it like a couple of months ago. This just all around, I just didn't enjoy the experience of applying it. I didn't like the way it looked when it first went on my skin. I didn't like the way it wore on my skin. I think I realized that if I'm gonna go with these kind of skincare infused type of formulas or something that's more serumy, I probably have to stick to my tried and trues from like Clé de Peau and Chanel, for example, because this was just bad news bears. It's very, like I said, serumy, but also oily. In fact, if you leave the bottle just kind of sitting in your makeup drawer, you will notice it separating, like the oils and the pigments kind of separating between the bottle. That's how oily and glossy this product is. So when you put it on your face, the same thing happens on your face. Basically, the oils are trying to escape from the pigments, and like I'm trying to blend it in, and I just look like this super shiny grease ball, and I can't get the makeup to just lay nicely on my face no matter what I do. And then throughout the day, I felt like this foundation, it was just slipping and sliding all over my face. And then eventually it just dried out my face. Basically all the hyaluronic acid would just evaporate, leaving me as a crusty crab. I don't understand it. It wasn't really moisturizing. It was just awful and patchy on my face. So I know a lot of people out there, they definitely like this product. So I'm sorry. It's probably just my skin type, right? This probably works for people with a different skin type than me. I have dry skin, you know, maybe it was the climate I was in. I have no idea, guys, but I absolutely hated this product. Another one that I don't loathe this, but it really just wasn't my favorite. It was a disappointment. It was a big disappointment for me, and that's why it's in this video. It is the Hourglass Skin Tint. This is another one that I feel like is very polarizing. You either really, really like it or you don't enjoy it at all. I'll put a little bit here on my hand. This is another one of those kind of skincare infused, you know, super hydrating types of products. And for me, it's just the texture. It's way too gooey. It's just got this like, it's like not necessarily sticky. It's just extremely glossy and gooey, and it's hard to get a nice even layer on my face. And then throughout the day, I kind of have a similar experience that I did to the Say, where it just kind of started getting dried out. It wore off my face very, very easily. I always found that if I didn't powder it, that it basically would just be gone by the end of the day. And I don't really powder my foundation all that much because I have dry skin. I don't feel like with a lot of my other luxury foundations, I need to use a setting powder. I feel like it stays on my face and I'm fine. But with this, what would happen would be I would go in with my bronzer and my blush kind of like on these parts of my face, but not here along my jawline. And I would look in the mirror and everything right here would basically be just non-existent. It would be gone. I'd have like a streak of, you know, fading there. And you know, maybe I could make this work and I could put some powder on top. But for me, friends, I'm just not going to do that, because if I go in with a skin tint, I'm going for that light, fresh, kind of dewy, no makeup type of look. I'm looking for something more natural. I don't really want to go in with a bunch of setting powder to make this work. And I love the Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin Tint. You guys know that's my favorite skin tint, and so I just kept reaching for that. And this one, unfortunately, I don't know, I'm gonna have to give this to someone in my family who I think is really gonna like this formulation, but for me it was just a pass. On the concealer side of things, another big disappointment for me was the Tom Ford Traceless Concealer Stick. I wanted this to be the best concealer stick ever because I love the Tom Ford Foundation Stick, which, by the way, is that getting discontinued? I really hope it isn't, because I love that and I really had high hopes for the concealer, but I just don't think that this is worth the price. I thought this was going to be the same as, if not better than, the Clé de Peau stick. I thought it would be better than the Chantecaille stick. But if you guys saw my review and all the comparisons that I did with those products, I just really don't think that this stands up to those other luxury concealer sticks. If I'm using a really expensive concealer like this, I want that feeling that when I go in with it under my eyes and I blend it out, it's like, it's like all my imperfections just kind of melting away, something very effortless, something that goes in my everyday makeup bag that I can use for literally everything. And I just don't feel like this does that. I think it is very overpriced. I think that it just is a little bit not pigmented enough to cover my dark circles. And also, guys, I wasn't really impressed with the longevity and kind of the moisturizing effects of this. I much prefer the kind of illumination and the coverage and the moisture that I get from the Clé de Peau stick and the Chantecaille. It's not a bad concealer, you know, it's not horrible. There were a lot of people that like this, but for me, this does kind of stand out as one of my least favorite products or most disappointing products that I tried this year. And I haven't decluttered it. I probably won't declutter it because this is the kind of thing that I put in my purse if I want to do touch-ups, because I don't need something super heavy duty and long wearing for a touch-up. If I just want to do a little, you know, a little something here and there, this is going to be, you know, perfect for that. It blends out nicely. But for something that I'm going to wear all day, I really need something that I can count on that's just better than this. You guys know I love Tom Ford, but I do have one more fail from the brand, and I review so many Tom Ford quads here on this channel. There's always bound to be at least one throughout the entire year that I just didn't get along with. And for me, the disappointment was the Tom Ford Rose Tease quad. And this palette, it is exactly as described. It is a tease for what could have been, because when I saw the promo photos for this, I was very intrigued, okay? Yes, it's another pink palette, but the colors that are included in here are so aesthetically pleasing and soft. I really like the elegant tones that are in this palette, but unfortunately, friends, the formula just doesn't do it for me. I thought this would have been beautiful in the creme formula. They had the velours khaki and the violet sateen that they released the previous year, and a lot of you guys really like those palettes. I feel like they should have done that for this one, but they didn't. They did the classic formula, the one that is not the wet dry and not the creme. It's the classic formula. It's not a bad formula. I just find that that one, it's a little bit more inconsistent. And with this palette, the shadows, they just kind of blend into nothing. They just kind of blend into nothing. It's really hard to get a look from this palette that doesn't look like you just put one shade on your eye. Everything just kind of blends together. So it's like I try and be artistic, I try and do different looks, but they just all come out the same because these are very powdery, kind of dusty eyeshadows. Some people, they don't mind that because they want something that's going to be really simple, and maybe you really enjoy the color that you get when you mix all of these shadows together. But for me, I just didn't think it was worth the $90 price tag. It's just very powdery, blends away, and does not have good longevity in my opinion. We talked about the Dior Holiday Liquid Lipstick, but I do have one more holiday fail. In fact, this one was definitely the most disappointing holiday release of 2023 for me. It is the highlighter from the Chanel Holiday Collection. This looked like it was going to be so stunning. Look at the pretty colors, very wearable, not super groundbreaking. Okay, we all know that. We had the gorgeous, beautiful little sequin design. This just looked so cute and frosty and festive for the holidays. And then, friends, I actually got it into my hands. I put it on my face, and unfortunately, it's just like, it's so sheer and glittery. It is way too chunky glitter for me. I don't know why. All of the luxury brands were really going for kind of like a glitter theme this year. We saw it in a lot of different products, and I just don't like it. I like metallics and I like toppers and touches of glitter, but I don't really want chunky, shimmery glitter on my face for the price. I expect this to be a little bit higher quality. And hey, maybe some people are looking for something a little bit more shimmery and glittery, but typically the Chanel customer, you know, we're going to Chanel because we love the luminizers for their smooth finish on the cheek that doesn't highlight any texture, that just melts into your skin. You know, as long as you have the right shade for you, it really should become one with your cheekbone. That's why I buy Chanel luminizers. And this, to me, you know, maybe it's a little bit novel to some, but I just don't find myself reaching for something like this. I suppose I could use it as an eyeshadow, but I already have plenty of like Chanel and luxury eyeshadows from other brands that have beautiful sparkle. So this has just become a bit redundant in my collection. I do think that maybe, you know, in future years, as this becomes less and less relevant, I probably will declutter it, and I certainly do not recommend anybody purchasing it. Another recent fail for me was the Huda Beauty Pretty Grunge palette. I had such high hopes for this palette because I do have a couple Huda Beauty palettes that I really like. I really like the Mercury in retrograde one. That's really fun. I love the Rose Quartz palette. That is super beautiful and wearable. But unfortunately for this one, the quality, I just feel like the quality doesn't stand up to the price point. This is basically the same price as a Natasha Denona midi palette at this point, but the Natasha palettes, I don't know. Comment down below if you agree with me. The quality is just better and very consistent across her palettes. I thought the color story of this one was so gorgeous. I still think the color story is super gorgeous. I love that there's a mix of brown tones, like some warmer colors. There's purples, there's mauves, there's a black. There's so many different like finishes in this palette, which I thought was going to be very fun to play with. But I told you guys in a previous video, I just don't think the formulation of the mattes is very good. They're a little bit dusty and they blend away. If I try and do something a little bit more artistic, if I try and build up, you know, some depth in the outer corner, anything like that, I just don't get like the precision, the pigmentation that I get from like a Natasha Denona matte, for example. I hate to compare the two brands, but I know a lot of people were choosing between this one and the Xenon palette this holiday season, so that's kind of why I bring it up. Kind of different color stories. This one is definitely, I think, a little bit more wearable and everyday, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to buy this, to see, okay, is this actually a good contender up against the Natasha Denona midi palettes? But the quality just doesn't stand up. Like I said, the mattes, they're a little bit dusty, and then the shimmers in this palette, they don't pop as much as I want them to, and I also don't think that she really nailed the tones of the shimmers. A lot of them are kind of in the same color family, so I'm not really able to get the contrast that I want from a lot of these shades. I do my makeup and it looks like I only have maybe 2 shadows on my eye instead of 6 or 7 shadows on my eye, and I don't get that from Natasha Denona, Pat McGrath, lots of other palettes that have these kinds of high pigmentation shadows. It was kind of a fail. It's not a horrible palette. I just think that, you know, instead of $64 or $65, whatever this is priced at now, that's a little bit too much. I think this is more like, you know, a $40 palette. And I do have it in my everyday makeup bag because I'm trying to give it more of a chance, but I still think my opinion stands. It's like not the worst, but it is overpriced. This next one really pains me because I love the brand, I love the founder, I love her approach to makeup and lots of her makeup releases, but unfortunately, friends, I just really didn't enjoy the Lisa Eldridge eyeliners. This is probably my least favorite product from her that I've tried. You know, I just don't like these. These are not really going to be getting that much use in my collection. They have sort of been banished to the back of the makeup drawer, unfortunately, and I will tell you why. These are just, they're very creamy. They're too creamy, okay? I don't know if you guys can see that. There's like a slight sheen there. These are so creamy that they just sort of blend away, and they don't really set down also after you apply them on the eye to kind of get good longevity. So it's like, I don't really want them for a smudgy look, but I also don't really want them for a precise look, for something that I need to last all day. I'm pretty much always afraid that these are going to transfer or kind of give me a little bit of a raccoon eye, and these were marketed as something that were going to be super easy to work with, very, very long lasting, and I just don't feel like they live up to the claims. And so many of you have told me, unfortunately, in the comments that you agree with me. If you're going to buy any of them, I would probably go for this lighter color, which is called Renaissance Gold. It's kind of like this beautiful, like frosted gold color. I feel like these work best if you want to use them almost like an eyeshadow stick, where you kind of scribble it on the eye and then you smudge it out, and then maybe you're like layering other types of shadows and things on top to build a full eye look. But as a basic eyeliner, they're just so creamy. They kind of like melt away on my hand, and then I have to sharpen them a lot, and they're just always slipping and sliding around. So unfortunately, friends, this was a fail. I'm sorry, Lisa Eldridge, I love your brand, but I just don't really like your eyeliners. And the last makeup disappointment of 2023, which was a very controversial one that we talked a lot about here on my channel, it is the Pat McGrath Mothership 11 Sunlit Seduction. I know, I love Pat McGrath. I really do like a lot of her products, but the reason that this is in my worst of video is because I just don't see the quality being maintained for the price. We already talked about with some of her other products, she's got like the cheapy packaging that I don't really enjoy. And with the Motherships, what I'm seeing is that the quality of the shadow, we're not getting like those special shades that we used to get, those big iridescent ones that we all loved. And for a lot of us, that was the reason why we bought these palettes, because we wanted something that, at least at the time of their launch, was very different from what we were seeing on the market. And the shades that she replaced those with, they just don't work quite as well. This shade in particular, Crimson, whatever it was, I don't have the names of the shades because they're not right here on the back of the palette, but this one right here was patchy and chunky. It was so difficult to work with. And after I filmed my review, I was watching a couple of other reviews, and it does seem that a lot of people had issues with that shade. And the other ones that she has here, friends, they're just really not all that special. Like I was saying earlier in the video, friends, we have other brands like Natasha Denona that are kind of almost upping their game. She is releasing new finishes with every single palette. You have a really fun mix of colors and different types of formulations to play with on the eye. If you want to be basic, if you want to be more artistic, you have the option for that. And I feel like Pat McGrath is kind of losing that with these palettes. The motherships are really not the types of palettes that they used to be. I felt like they were artistry palettes. That's how they are described, as opposed to just like an everyday makeup palette for the everyday consumer. I don't really go to these palettes for an everyday look. I know a lot of people were very critical about the color story. I don't really blame Pat McGrath for doing all the pinks because obviously it sells really well. But just personally for me, once again, I don't blame her. But for me, the color story and the formula are a disappointment because I'm going to these palettes for something that is a little bit more special, a little bit more glittery, maybe a little pop of color, something like that. I like the palettes that have more of a mixture of kind of neutrals and interesting colors and finishes. So it's just not hitting the same as it used to hit. It's not a terrible palette, but for $125, I feel like every single shade should be a slam dunk, and it should be something, you know, really interesting and very, very good quality from the packaging to the formula. You know, I gotta be critical in this video. This for me, it was a disappointment. And that is it, my friends. I hope that you enjoyed this Grinch-y video. Hope it wasn't too salty for you, and maybe it was just a little bit fun and reflective. Now it is your turn, friends. Sound up in the comment section down below and let me know if I'm wrong about these products, but do it in a nice way. And also let me know, what were the products that you're salty about from this year? What were some of your biggest disappointments? And also, what are you looking forward to for 2024 as it relates to makeup and beauty? What sorts of trends and products are you hoping for? Let's leave things also on a positive note. If you like this video, please don't forget to give me a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. I mean, what are you waiting for? I upload new videos just like this one every single week. Don't forget to go and watch Jacqueline's video. The link to that will be right in the description box down below. And with that, friends, I hope that you see some beauty in your day, and I will see you in my next one. Goodbye.